Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kaylee. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I have kind of been absent for a little bit, kind of taking a little bit of time off. So we went and visited some friends in North Carolina, and then we've just kind of been like doing some projects around the house and like trying to get things done. We've just been busy, so I was going to continue reviewing the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. I wasn't really feeling it, and you know, I did looks and I reviewed the two palettes that I really cared about and the two palettes that I was really interested in. If you guys want to see those reviews, I'll post them up here for you. This video is for the beginners. If you're not that experienced with eyeshadow, if you're kind of wanting to get into eyeshadow, you don't really know where to start, all of my tips and tricks I'm going to explain to you in great detail how to create an eyeshadow look and how to place it on your eye and where to put the colors and all that good stuff. So I am going to be showing you guys today 5 different eyeshadow looks using the Modern Renaissance palette. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click the red button right down below. I would very much appreciate that. And if you guys like this video and find it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so the first thing that I always start out with when I'm creating any eyeshadow look, and what I think always ends up looking the best, is if I get dressed first, I choose my outfit, and then from that point I decide how I'm going to do my makeup for that day. And I would very much consider your makeup as an accessory to an outfit. So I'm wearing a nude colored cami here, and then I'm wearing a waffle knit, very neutral colored cardigan. So this is a super neutral outfit. A couple looks that I'm going to show you work with a lot of different outfits, and I do these looks a lot whenever I don't feel like really playing with a ton of color. I just want something neutral, quick, and easy. I'm going to show you guys a couple of those looks as well as a couple colorful looks. I will be choosing a couple of other tops and outfits. Then I'm going to show you guys how I kind of color coordinate my makeup. This first look kind of goes along with any outfit. No matter what you're wearing, this makeup look will work. So I chose this palette because I just think it's a very good, easy, neutral palette. A lot of people already own this palette. It's been around for a long time. When I am starting out a look, I always like to start off with an eyeshadow base. Whatever eyeshadow base you want to use is perfectly fine. I usually just like to use a concealer. Today I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape. This is probably my favorite eyeshadow base. When you want your makeup look to last all day and you want your eyeshadows to stay in place, I've just found that using a concealer or an eyeshadow base really helps, and it helps the colors appear more pigmented and just last a lot longer on the eyes. So I'm just going to put a little bit here, and this also just gives us a little bit of a tacky base to start with an eyeshadow, especially if you're doing a more intricate eyeshadow look. This really helps to like cling onto the pigment in eyeshadow and really help it look pop on the eyes. The section right here between the brow and the crease, this is called the transition area, and this is where I start off almost any look. You really want to start by placing a pretty neutral shade there, just something that's going to help you blend into some of the deeper colors and help you really develop that look so that it has like a nice fade and a nice blend. And I always like to start off by using a little bit more of a fluffy, bigger bristled brush. So I like to start off with a very light or neutral shade. This palette is great because there are a lot of shades that can be used as transition shades. For example, the warm taupe color, this is one of my favorites for creating a more neutral look. I also really like the raw sienna, the golden ochre, and the burnt orange. I think those are all really nice transition shades. Starting our look today, we are going to pick up the shade warm taupe. You want to click off the excess eyeshadow. You don't want to go in too much when we're doing a simple eyeshadow look like this. And I'm just going to start kind of placing it down in circular motions. And again, we're taking this kind of in the crease, but mainly above the crease into this transition area. And I'm taking it all the way in, almost here to the very inner corner here, kind of where it's the edge of the brush is just touching my nose a little bit. And then when I get to the outer corner here, you kind of work the shadow up and out just a little bit, not too crazy. You want to take the shadow almost to the brow, but not all the way to the brow. That is your transition shade. For the next step, I am going to be switching over to a smaller, more tapered blending brush. So this just has a little bit of a different shape. It's not going to be as fluffy or as wide as the last one. This brush is really great for putting colors a little bit more in a targeted area like the crease. So this brush is just gonna help us to concentrate that color into the crease a little bit more. And we did a very light wash of the color as the transition shade, but now we're just picking up a little bit more, and we're gonna really start just placing this a little bit heavier into the crease. So a little trick to keep the color into your crease is if you keep your eye open rather than trying to close it and see and find your crease, it's a lot easier to just keep your eye open, and then you can just kind of work it back and forth. With your eye kind of halfway open, the brush just sinks right into your crease. So depending on the kind of eye look that you're going for, if you want to create a little bit of a more round eye, if you're going for like a more of a halo eye look, you want to keep the color kind of rounded and saturated within your eye socket like this. For this look that we're gonna do, I'm gonna kind of do a cat eye winged liner, I think, with this look. So I kind of wanna have a little bit more of a winged shape to my eye. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of that shade, and right here when I get to the outer corner, I'm gonna kind of bring that shade out just a little bit here so that it kind of gives the eye a little bit more of a drawn out look. Now we are going to start darkening up the crease just to give a little bit more definition on the eyes. And since we are keeping the look very neutral, the next shade I want to use is Cypress Umber. Just taking a little bit of this shade, and I'm going to place it on the outer portion of the eye. This is gonna give a little bit more definition. So I'm starting out by just placing it on the outer portion of the mobile lid here. So once I kind of pat down the majority of the color here, I'm just slightly starting to work it into the crease. And then I'm gonna start bringing it across the lid slightly. I'm gonna bring it out at the outer corner just slightly, not as far as we took the warm taupe shade. So we're not being like super precise with this look, because this is a look that you can do very quickly. It's very easy. It works with a lot of different outfits. For this look, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of different options. One way to do this look super quick and very easy, and another way to take a little bit more time and have it look a little bit more clean cut. So I want something lighter and brighter on the lid. Since this is a little bit of a darker look, especially on the outer corner for an everyday look, you really want to kind of brighten up the inner portion of the eye and the lid and kind of open that whole area up. So you have a couple of options here. You can go in with a color at this point if you want to incorporate a little bit more color into your look. You could grab one of these a little bit brighter shades in the palette. If you really want to give a little bit of a brighter, more open eye look to the center of the lid, I would go in with one of the shimmer shades, either Vermeer or Primavera, and you can just tap that on with your finger. A lot of times I will do this look with Tempera on the lid. So I'm just gonna pick this up with my finger here, and I'm just gonna tap this all over the lid area here. And then I'm just kind of blending it into the brown, just using my finger. It's super quick and super easy. And immediately you can see how much more open this eye looks than this eye. I'm gonna go back in with that same brush we were using with no product. And you just wanna lightly kind of give a little bit of a blend where those two shades meet. So that is option one. I wanted to show you quickly on this eye, when I have a couple extra minutes to spare in the morning and I want a little bit more of a crisper look, I'll go back in with my Tarte Shape Tape. This is a really flat shader brush from ColourPop. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this concealer, and I am going to cut out the inner portion of the lid here. So it's just gonna give us a little bit of a crisper line. You want to really kind of start at the inner portion of the eye. I'm gonna go along my natural crease line. If you have more hooded eyes, you're gonna wanna take the concealer slightly higher than your natural crease line. It's just gonna allow your lid color to be seen when your eyes are open. And if you're new to cut creases, it really just takes a little bit of time and practice. So I've kind of created a little bit of a tapered line here. And then I'm just gonna go lightly across the edge just with my finger and kind of disperse that concealer so we kind of get a little bit of a blend there. And you can see it's definitely not a perfect line, but it's pretty good, and then it gives us a lot more definition you can see between the two. So then on this side, I'm gonna use one of the shimmer shades so that you can see how much brighter and more awake that's gonna make the eye look. So I'm gonna go in with the color Primavera, just because it's a super neutral shade and we are doing a very neutral eye look. And I'm just gonna start by placing this down with my finger on top of that wet concealer. And I'm going as close as I can, just using my finger. I'm gonna go back into that same brush that I just used, pick up a little bit of that shade, and just trace right along that line. A little trick to kind of go in and clean that up. And we're just gonna take a really small little eyeliner brush. We're just gonna take a very little bit of that eyeshadow and we're gonna go right along that line. And that's just gonna erase any concealer that may have gotten out of place when we were doing the cut crease. So when I wanna have a little bit more of a crisp, defined look, I will take those couple extra seconds and just cut the crease out so you can see how much brighter and more open it looks when you add the shimmer shade to the lid. If you don't feel like spending that much time, you can do something super quick and easy like this, and I think it still looks really nice, but it doesn't take that much time. To complete this look, I'm taking a little bit of the warm taupe shade here, and this is typically what I would do with an eye look like this, is I would take the lighter of the shades that I use, typically my transition shade, and I will start that shade by putting a little bit of the shadow on your lower lash line. It just really helps everything feel like a more completed, cohesive thought. And then just to show you guys how you can kind of change it, so if you are going for a more bold, more smoky look, go in with the deeper shade that you used on the outer portion of the eye. But again, we're just using the same shades that we used on the lid. I think that's the easiest way. If you want to add an additional kind of pop of color on the lower lash line, you definitely can. Sometimes I will go in with a flat brush like this. You can go in with a little bit more of that Cypress Umber shade. And if you just run it right along your lash line, and you can see that really darkens up the lower lash line and helps it appear a lot more smoky and a lot darker. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop on a little bit of winged liner on both sides so that you guys can see the final look. All right, so this is how the looks are completed with liner and lashes. Sorry that this eye is so red. My eye was watering terribly while I was applying my eyeliner, and I actually poked my eye when I was doing my mascara too, so that really helped the whole situation there. You can do a little bit of liner if you choose to. If you're going for this look right here, I've worn it several times with just mascara, and I think that that's enough when you're going for a more soft look. I would definitely finish this look with some lashes. I think that when you're doing a little bit more detail work and you are creating that cut crease, if you just put on a little bit of mascara, it might look like it's not quite complete. If you have very round eyes like me and you want to create a little bit more of a drawn out look, definitely just take that into consideration and bring your eyeshadows out a little bit when you get to the outer corner, and then you throw on a winged eyeliner with it, and I think it really does help in creating that shape. So either of these eyeshadow looks are very simple to achieve, very quick, and I totally forgot inner corner highlight just now as I'm looking in the camera. Sometimes I forget to do inner corner highlight. It happens. Try not to forget it if you're gonna spend a lot of time doing your eyeshadow look. I'm going to go change real quick. I'm going to remove this eye makeup, and I'm gonna show you guys how to create a little bit more of a colorful look depending on what you're wearing. Okay, so I went ahead and reset my eyes here. So again, I will get dressed first. So if I were to put on this shirt, this gives me a lot of room to work with within this palette. We can create a ton of different looks that would go with this kind of top. So typically I will just pick like one color or one sort of color palette within the colors of whatever I'm wearing. I'm gonna show you two different types of looks that I would wear with this kind of multicolored top. So if I were to pull out the more orange tones in this shirt, I would begin my look. We're gonna go back to that bigger fluffy brush here, and you can really pick any of the more orange colors in the palette to start with. And I'm gonna go for the little bit more orange shade here, the color Burnt Orange. And this is gonna be our transition shade. So we are going to do exactly what we did with Warm Taupe on the last look. I think I'm gonna actually show you guys how to do a really simple halo eye on this side for this more orange look. If you wanted to make this shade more of your focal point, you could have always started off with Raw Sienna or Golden Ochre as your transition, worked this a little bit deeper into the crease and kind of do your look like that. I just did a really light wash of that shade. You could continue to build that shade a little bit more if you wanted to, but I am going to move on and go over to the color Real Gar and going back over to that smaller, more tapered brush now, because we're gonna go into the crease with this shade. And I really just like to set the color down, so I kind of place it down. And then since we're gonna kind of do a halo eye on this side, I'm gonna place it into the inner corner as well. And then we will go in and blend it. in with a small amount of color and then building the look to as intense as you want is much easier than going in with a lot of color and then trying to go back in and soften it. And then I'm gonna do that trick again where I keep my eye open and I'm just gonna work that back and forth into the crease here. And this time I'm not bringing the shadow out at all because we are gonna be creating a very round shape. So halo eyes are typically very round and you just have a little bit of light in the center of the eye. A little bit of a longer, skinnier brush. So I'm gonna continue in with the color Real Gar. And I just wanna really kind of deepen up directly in the crease. You could go in then at this point if you wanted it to be a little bit more deep and intense with the smaller little crease brush, and you could pick up the Cypress Umber shade or the red ochre shade would be really pretty if you wanted to kind of deepen that crease up even more. I'm gonna go back with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer once again. I'm gonna cut out the center of my lid. Again, I don't want this to be super complicated for you guys. I want this to be something that anybody could do. So a super simple little trick to do a halo eye is to just tap a little bit into the center of your lid like so, and then you kind of want to look up. And then you can see on my lid, it kind of created a little line. Then I'm just going to follow right along that line. And with a halo eye, you really only cut out the center of your eyelid. And I'm just opening up the space in the center of my lid here. Right at the crease line, you kind of extend it out. Go in and just tap right along that line to kind of blend a little bit. And that is all we're doing with the concealer. So that is it. And then since we are doing a little bit more of an oranger toned look, I'm gonna go back in once again with Primavera. And again, I'm just gonna tap this right over where we placed that concealer. And then I'm gonna go back in with that same brush. And I'm gonna go right along that line. And then I'm gonna go back in with this tiny little guy with no color. I'm just gonna stamp over the top to kind of blend it. So I'm gonna leave this part a little bit bigger and I'm gonna make it smaller at the bottom. And then to finish this eye look, we're gonna go back into the shade Burnt Orange. Again, you can use a different shade if you want to incorporate another color on the lower lash line, by all means do it. Like I said, I haven't been super into wearing eyeliner recently, but a little trick is that you can go in with that super flat eyeshadow brush that we used earlier. I'm gonna go into the deepest shade in this palette, that really dark brown, and I'm just gonna go with this right along my lash line, kind of pressing it into the lash line. Kind of gives you the effect of an eyeliner without spending all the time. So I'm gonna pop on some lashes real quick and then this look will be complete. All right, so this eye is done. I have not put on bottom mascara yet. I'm gonna wait till the very end. And for this side, I wanted to pull out some of the more pinks and burgundies. You could definitely start off with the golden ochre shade or the warm taupe shade if you want something a little bit more neutral. I wanna create a little bit more of a colorful look. So I'm gonna go in first with the color Bon Fresco, which actually matches the background of this top like almost perfectly, and I really did not even plan that. And we're not gonna do any kind of cut crease on this side. I wanna keep it very simple and very easy. We are going to switch brushes to the smaller, more tapered shape here. I'm gonna go into the color Love Letter. I'm just gonna stamp it down. I'm gonna concentrate this color really on the outer portion of the mobile lid and into the crease. The outer portion of the crease and the center of the crease, and then when I have very little product left on my brush, I'm kind of lightly bringing it in but not all the way in. Keeping it really nice and soft and colorful. We're going to go in and use the color Vermeer here, where we're just gonna tap it all over the lid here. So pretty. This Tempera shade is my all-time favorite shade for highlighting the brow bone. So I just like to take this right along. Do the same thing over here because it's such a nice neutral shade that it works with any look you're doing. This can be your brow bone highlight shade. So with this look, I want to go back in with Bon Fresco first, and we're gonna sweep that on the lower lash line. Again, on that nice flat brush. I'm gonna take it most of the way across, but not all the way. I'm gonna grab a much smaller little blending brush. I'm just gonna add a little bit more color to the lower lash line. So then for the inner corner highlight for both of these looks, I'm gonna go in just with my Anastasia Amrezy highlighter. It's my favorite highlighter at the moment. It's also what I'm wearing on my face. Inner corner highlight is probably like my favorite step. It's hard to believe that I forget it sometimes because it just makes such a difference and it's so pretty. So I'm gonna pop on my lashes on this eye so you guys can see the completed look here. All right, so these are the completed colorful looks here. Either of these looks is probably how I would do my makeup to go with this top, just depending on if I'm feeling like I want to pull out the orange in this top with this side, or if I feel like I want to pull out more of the purpley pinks on this side. All right, so I am going to finish off by showing you guys one more final, very neutral eyeshadow look. Very simple and very quick, but a little bit more grungy. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a super quick smoky eye. One of my go-to looks when I don't want to spend a lot of time doing my eyeshadow, but I want it to look really beautiful and very put together. And once again, I'm going to take off this eye makeup and then I will be back to show you guys the final look. As you can see, I've changed my outfit once again. This is the cutest denim jacket that I just got. I'm going to be wearing this all fall. I just have this paired with a white v-neck t-shirt, and this is actually skewing the color of my camera right now, so I'm actually gonna take it off while I do my makeup. So we're gonna start off, you guessed it, with a little bit of a fluffier brush. You can do this look with any color that you want. I'm gonna, again, try to keep it very neutral. I really like to do this look with warm taupe a lot of the times. We've already used warm taupe in one of the looks today, so I think I'm gonna go into raw sienna. It's gonna give us a little bit more color than warm taupe, but still keep it super neutral and very wearable. This one I'm gonna take a little bit more into the crease and just blend whatever's left up towards the brow. Now I'm going to switch over to that smaller, more tapered brush and take a little bit more of that shade directly into the crease. So when I don't have a ton of time, this is when I'm gonna go ahead and run that same exact color on my lower lash line. We're not being precise about this. I'm just sweeping this kind of messily all over the lower lash line. I took my cat ears out because they were giving me like a major headache. So again, you can do whatever color you want. If you want to pack a color all over the lid, you could do a shimmer right now if you wanted. I'm going to keep this look very neutral. We're going to go back into Cypress Umber. I'm just going to lightly start brushing this onto the lid. Like I said, this look does not have to be precise. We're just being very quick about it. A little bit of that Amrezy highlighter, or you can use Vermeer or Primavera from this palette. And then you literally don't need any eyeliner. It'll look much better once we get some lashes on, trust me. I'll be right back. All right, so this is the completed look here. I feel like I keep saying this, but it looks like you spent a long time doing your makeup, but really you didn't. Like, all of these looks are super easy to achieve. I know that you can do them on your own. People that always ask me, how do I start creating a makeup look? It's not a science at all. It's really not. It's just you having fun, playing with makeup, pulling different colors. They may not necessarily go together, but you can do whatever you want. There are no really specific rules when it comes to doing your eyeshadow. You can have as much fun and play with as much color as you want to, getting out there and feeling creative and just doing what you want to do with your own makeup and just have fun with it. And I hope that this video has kind of helped inspire you guys to feel more comfortable with trying different things. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe before you leave. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. That really helps me out. Also, leave a comment down below if you guys have any video recommendations for me, or if you just feel like having a chat, leave me a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome week, and I will see you in my next video.